Hey everyone, this is Jenny. Welcome to day 2. I just wanted to check in and see how everyone's doing. I'm really enjoying seeing your updates and the positive attitudes you guys are having and getting in and getting your workouts done and making it work with the food and the nutrition. Please be sure to chime in and post any questions that you have at all. We, as your coaches, are here to help you out. It's not easy to cut out all these different sweeteners and processed foods and come up with a meal plan and cut out the alcohol. We know that that is not easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. And we absolutely are here to give you recipes and menu ideas and anything that we can to make that process a little bit more feasible for you. I can tell you for sure that for me, when I first started, I had a lot more slip-ups, and then as I've gone on, my tastes have changed, and I've actually now I just really don't need things quite as sweet. For example, I will be posting some about coffee, and I used to hate coffee because it was too bitter and I wanted to just drink like hot chocolate or a mocha with caramel in it or something. And then over time, I got myself onto using a coconut milk coffee creamer that had French vanilla in it. And I would dump a bunch of that in there to sweeten up my coffee. And then I worked myself over to just using unsweetened almond and coconut milk. And what's interesting is that just this last week, I went and bought my old French vanilla coconut milk creamer that I used to use like a couple years ago as a healthier alternative. And I still recommend to people, and I drank it and I was like, oh, it was so gross to me. And I realized that it seems so sweet now to me to have a French vanilla coffee creamer because I have cut out so much sugar in my diet for such a long period of time that I now, don't get me wrong, I still have my treats. I still have, those scheduled indulgences, but it's just crazy how much my taste buds have completely changed to where I don't need that amount of sweetness anymore. So stick with it. You will get there with consistency, and it will absolutely be worth it as you clean things up. So I also really wanted to talk today about money. So one of the most common things that I hear when I do these groups is it's too expensive to eat healthy. It's too expensive. It costs too much money. And I wanted to just address a couple of those, the reasons why it seems that way and what you can do about it. So first of all, when you sit down to do a challenge like this, if you don't already have a lot of the ingredients in place at home, it will cost more when you go to the grocery store. And that's because buying things that you use to cook food from fresh, like spices and vinegars and dressings and things like that, those things are expensive. When you buy like an entire container of a spice, that's like $5, right? So if you're buying a bunch of different spices and a bunch of different vinegars and all these things, it's going to add up really quickly. But here's the thing you need to know is that those things last a really long time, and you can use them in different combinations on different foods to create so many different meal options. So it's really an investment that is going to pay you back. When I go to the grocery store, I don't tend to buy a lot of spices and vinegars and bottled items anymore, or canned items, because I've got most of those things stocked up. Usually when I go for a weekly shopping trip, I'm buying fresh produce and fresh meats and, some things like that, stocking up on those things. But a lot of my ingredients that I use to cook with are last a very long time, so I don't have to replenish them very often. So keep that in mind when you go shopping this first week. It's not always going to be quite that expensive. The other reason it can be expensive during this challenge is because I'm posting these 7-day meal plans, and those are designed to show people what a variety of options are available with clean eating, right? And so they're going to have a night that's a soup, and a night that's a salmon, and a night that's a steak, and a night that's chicken, and a night that's ground turkey. And there's going to be variety during the day, because what we want to show you guys is how many great options there are, and that you can eat clean and still enjoy a lot of really good food. But that can add up if you're buying all those different proteins and all the different, if one recipe calls for basil and the next recipe calls for cumin and the next recipe calls for oregano. And so you're buying all the different spices, and then you're buying all the different proteins, and then you're buying all the different snacks so that you can have a different fruit, every single day, or a different vegetable every single day to get that variety. Well, it is going to add up. Okay. But if cost is more of a concern than variety for you, then what I would recommend that you do is narrow down your options and reuse things. I do this all the time. I keep my food very simple. I basically go through those meal plans and I pick my favorite options for breakfast, lunches, and snacks, and I reuse them. So I might eat, steel cut oats and strawberries and peanut butter, natural peanut butter every morning all week long. And then for my morning snack, I might have grapes and hard-boiled eggs every day. And honestly, that stuff is not that expensive. I just buy a big thing of grapes and a big thing of strawberries, and I make up a batch of steel cut oats, which is not expensive. I have my container of peanut butter, and then, I have my eggs, right? And then I might, because I already have bought the eggs, maybe I would use the eggs to make, a frittata for dinner one night with some vegetables in it. Or maybe I would put chicken in Mexican food, and then the next night I would use the same chicken, but season it differently and use it for Mediterranean type, with hummus, do a wrap, right? And you can use tomatoes in both of those meals. So be a little bit strategic if cost is an issue, and choose the menu items that you like and reuse them. The other thing is that, if cost is an issue, well, don't buy fresh salmon. Don't buy a bunch of steak, right? Those things are going to tend to be more expensive. So you have a couple options. You can use frozen fish. So, places like Costco have frozen salmon that you can use very easily to substitute for fresh. Or just don't do fish and steak. Instead, do things like pork, ground turkey, ground chicken, chicken breast. And then you can do some meals with eggs, which is another option that I really like to use for a protein. So don't be afraid to reuse things, again, in different meals with different spices. The other thing is that, if you are looking at a menu and there are a ton of different spices in every single meal, it's not the end of the world if you don't buy every single spice that's listed or every single herb that's listed, or get a fresh herb for everything. So if you have a question, post or ask myself or one of the coaches, which ones are really important. And you can probably cut out some of those things to make your life more easy and more simple, and to be more affordable. So the last thing I want to say about cost too is that, remember, when you eat healthy, clean food like this, it fills you up so much more. So you're not going to be having cravings. You're not going to be giving into that last minute whim to grab a candy bar, or go through the drive-thru, or go down to the hospital cafeteria and pick up some food, because you're going to be more fulfilled and satisfied and full with the food that you prepared ahead of time, okay? And the food that you prepared ahead of time absolutely will be cheaper, right? So going to the grocery store and spending more money to buy all the ingredients for salad and using that same salad all week long is going to be cheaper than going to the hospital cafeteria and doing a salad bar every single day for lunch, okay? So you have to be fair to clean eating a little bit. You can't, you are going to spend more at the grocery store, but when you're comparing it, you have to remember to compare all those stops at Starbucks, stops at other coffee shops, breakfast sandwiches that you buy, snacks that you buy when you're out and about, eating out, getting takeout, all those things are, when you add that up, it's actually a lot more money than what you spend at the grocery store for a week of clean eating. It's just that it doesn't seem like it, because your grocery bill before was smaller, because you were ending up going out and buying other little bits of food here and there for $5 at a time. Well, $5 a day at Starbucks for a sandwich and a coffee, that adds up. Okay, that's a lot of money. So you have to keep that in context. Right, so if I think about that, $5 a day, that's $150 a month that you're spending on those little just random trips to Starbucks. So be a little bit fair to clean eating. So to recap this, make sure that you pick from the meal options what's going to work for you best. So if you are on a budget, choose items that are like turkey, chicken, ground meats, pork. You can use frozen meats instead of fresh. Reuse some of the same spices, reuse some of the same menus, reuse a lot of the same side dishes. So you can make like brown rice and you can serve it all week long with different things. You can take sweet potatoes and have them for lunches and for dinners in different formats. You can make sliced and grilled versus like mashed up. Be sure, same with fruit, just use the same fruit, 2 or 3 different fruits, and buy them and eat them all week long, and buy what's in season, right? So buy the fruit that's in season, or buy frozen fruit. This is one reason I really like Shakeology, because you can dump, some spinach leaves and some fresh and some frozen fruit into your Shakeology, and you're getting a lot of nutrition, and it's going to fill you up, and it tastes great in the shake format, right? So, and Shakeology itself is actually much cheaper than most meals. So it's like $4 a day or less. And if you think about that $4, again, if you're comparing that to buying like a coffee or a Starbucks sandwich or whatever, you're actually getting more bang for your buck, and you're getting more nutrition, and it's going to fill you up better, and it's going to cut your cravings so that you're not wanting to go out and eat more and more things, and that's going to add up as well. So remember to do all those tips. If you still feel like it's too expensive, please message me or your coach for other specific ideas that work for your situation, because we do want to make sure everyone understands how they can make this work. And I actually am pretty firmly of the belief that it doesn't significantly cost more. If it costs a little bit more, then I would actually say that'd be worth it because of the benefits of your health and avoiding future disease. But to be honest with you, I'll just tell you my personal experience. I was getting takeout multiple times a week. I was getting coffee multiple times a week. I was giving into cravings and buying random meals, or not having food with me, so having to buy food at work before I started all this. Once I started this, I invested in good quality spices and vinegars and things from the beginning. And then each week I replenish from the grocery store the things that are more perishable and need renewing. And I definitely spend less per week now to eat more food that's better for me, and I weigh less and I feel better, and my hair and skin and everything is better. So for me, it has absolutely cost less and had better results. So I want to help. My passion is to help other people see that. So let me know how I can help you guys, and post below if you have any questions. All right, everyone, have a great day.